What is going on? Hi. I was just sitting here minding my own business and reading and being sentimental. I was waiting for the clock to tick and then I realized, oh my God, it's already 6. How are you doing? It's been a while. I got a lot of messages this week from you all. Welcome to Ask Gina Live. And a lot of you did send me messages this week around somebody just sent me a message that they can't catch me live in North Carolina. I don't know why. Hi, Janine. How are you? Hi, Brenda. Hi, y'all. Sign in, say hello, wave, tell me what you're doing. And remember this, if you make a comment, I'm going to read it. So if you don't want me to read it, don't comment. Okay. Hi, Mary Wilson. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. This time it felt like an eternity. It felt like a really long time since I talked to you all. So how did you feel? I don't know if that's good. You would think because I'm busy, it would go faster. It didn't. Maybe because this is fun. Maybe this feels like fun and not work. That's why. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Gina. Just feeling overwhelmed today. Can't seem to turn the tears off. Missing both my parents. Oh my God, you all. Send some love to Kelly. That's so weird. I'm sitting here reading this book. Hi, Marshall from the Philippines. I'm reading this book, this little tiny affirmation book. Is it backwards? Father to Daughter, Life Lessons on Raising a Girl. I was getting super sentimental thinking about my dad, Kelly, and wondering like, wow, did my dad teach me all these things that it's asking us to teach each other in here? Look, I'm going to read one of them to you. Tell her the 3 keys to wisdom: not believing all you hear, not spending all you have, not sleeping all you want. This totally makes me think of my daughter. This will be difficult for her until she graduates from college. Seems so simple. Teach her that great love and great achievements involve great risk. So I'm sending you love, Kelly. I was, being really sentimental, thinking about my dad as well. Mom's still here, but she's getting older. And I can see that she's struggling a bit and being alone and being very sentimental herself. So I really get that. And I appreciate and understand that you're feeling sad. So everybody send Kelly some love. We all have, some of us don't have those great relationships with parents. So some of us are relieved sometimes when we no longer in contact or see them, because some of you come from abused situations. But when you have those good relationships, boy, you really miss them when they're gone. You miss their voice, you miss their sense of humor, you miss the things that they did or didn't give to you. So, I get it. So send her some love, and I know exactly how you feel. And so some spaces in our hearts cannot be replaced or refilled by anyone else. So parents are those people that hold a special place in your heart that no one else can. So the best thing to do is to honor them, especially if you had those great loving parents, unconditionally loving parents, I hope, because not a lot of people get that, believe it or not. So my thought is that you honor them, that you think of them, that you talk about them, that you tell stories about them. It's why I always do my funny Cuban accent that I do. Because it reminds me of my dad. Like, I can hear his voice. Besides that, when I look in a mirror now, I can see him and my physical features, which kind of trips me out a little bit, kind of scares me and trips me out, being a girl, that I look like my dad. But I think of him, and when I speak in that Cuban accent that I tell you guys, because it's very hard when you lose somebody that you love, no matter what. But if I talk about it like this, it's like as if he's sitting right here next to me. And then, boy, that make me feel pretty good. So do the things that remind you of your parent to hold them close to your heart. Okay. So send love and prayers to Kelly and raise her up, and be kind and loving throughout the live to anybody that pops on here with us tonight. So this is different. Thank you for doing that, Mary. I started switching the lives from Thursday night to Wednesday. I don't know how that's working for you all, but like I said, somebody earlier today, Kenneth, said that he doesn't get it. Sorry, Kenneth, live in North Carolina on Wednesday nights. Isn't that weird? What do? Turn off the internet only in that section of the state, the city, in the country. That seems kind of odd to me. So I don't know why. Maybe it's a Facebook thing. Maybe they restrict certain zones that they let you go live on. Who knows? If y'all have an answer to that, let Kenneth know, because I'm hoping he'll watch this after it posts live. Hey, Rosario from the Philippines, and hey, Sarah Jackson. So if you're new to this live with me, let me know who you are. You're welcome, Kelly, and say hello. I'm very chatty. I do read all the comments. If you don't want it read, please don't comment on it. I pick a different topic every week, so I could not think, y'all. My brain was like so foggy. I was like, what am I going to talk about? I don't know what to talk about. I'm always talking. What do I talk about? Finally, it hit me why we take things so personally. So I'm going to give you an example, and I'm going to jump right in here. I had this issue where someone sent me a message, and in the message, I didn't respond right away. And as I scrolled back, by the time I see it, they had sent 3 messages. So since June till now, I didn't see any of them till this morning. When I saw the message this morning, the person responded back, because I didn't respond right away, responded back, "Are you enjoying ignoring me?" or something to that effect. Wow, I was really taken aback, and I was like, do we even know each other for you to make such an assumption about who I am? And that you imagine that is your universe so small and self-absorbed that you don't think possibly that something could have gone wrong, or that I didn't get the message, or that Facebook shut down the messenger, or that just in my busyness, I didn't see it. It was an oversight. Hi, Renee. Is it Renee? Yes. Reina, how are you? And Leona. So I'm jumping right in here talking about why do we take things personally. Hi, Kenna. A lot of you didn't know, but I already started the topic and the subject. I had said it was a secret topic because I couldn't think about what to talk about. It hit me like 2 p.m. Let's talk about why we take things personally. So I'm giving you an example of something that I experienced just this morning, was somebody sent me a private message on Messenger and said, "Are you enjoying ignoring me?" Something to that effect. And I thought, wow, that's unkind. That's a huge assumption. Hi, George. Everybody, it's a party. George is here. It's always a party when George joins us. So my thought was, you are making a lot of assumptions about who I am. You're not even giving me the grace or dignity to think something could have happened to me. Maybe it's just out of busyness. The fact that I do this for fun and for free, that I have a life, a family and children and illnesses that I manage, and businesses that I manage, and full-time job, that it's an oversight and I hadn't gotten to it yet. But the person took it very personally, and I was quite offended to be told that, oh, I was enjoying it. I'm not sick like that. I'm not twisted like that. And my whole experience with you all is that I do this to help people relieve pain. I don't like to give pain. I don't like people to feel hurt or feel badly. I certainly wouldn't inflict pain on anyone. And if I've ever hurt anyone and they have the grace and the kindness and the generosity to confront me about it, I will always make an amends. I will always own my part. So what does this have to do with me? The simple fact that I'm a human being, and I'm just giving you an example of how someone took something personal so simply of me not responding in a sufficient time or at all to somebody's message, okay? So now I want to hear from you. Hi, Julie. You are a much better people person than I am. Thank you, Julie, for that compliment. I don't know if I am. Hi, George. What I'm saying to you is this. Sometimes people interpret you that you're being rude, that you're ignoring them, that you're selfish, that you're mean-spirited, and you're shocked because really you're like, oh my God, I didn't get your message. My phone was dead. Somebody stole my phone. I must have not seen it because I get 350 emails a day or 1,000 text messages a day. It was an oversight, but you're telling me I did this intentionally because I'm a bad person. Tell me if you've ever experienced that. I want to hear from you. Hi, Lynn. It's been a minute. And hey, Mike, how are you? This is why I don't care what others think if I am doing my best. I like Mike's attitude. And Mike, I'm telling you, the talk tonight is why we take it personally. Not everybody has gotten to that level of maturity or self-actualization that you're at. Some of us still suffer with self-esteem, that we don't feel good enough. And we were told that everything was our fault. And no matter how hard we tried, we couldn't get it right. So if you come from that history, from those parents, from that childhood, then when people personally take something personally that you say or do, you feel terrible about it. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't mean to hurt you. And you feel embarrassed and you feel ashamed. Let me know if you've had that experience, because it's coming from your history. Someone always used to blame you. People in your life don't take responsibility for their own behavior. So you get blamed for things that aren't even yours. I have shared this with you guys before. Brenda, I get what you're saying. We all have busy life. Amen, Brenda. Hi, Lynn. How are you? Donna, could this be included in your topic last week, Ari, perspective? Yeah, again, this has something to do with perspective, but here is, I want you to teach you about, if you're taking it personally, it's a self-esteem issue. That you are walking on the around in the world mistrusting, also feeling like nobody cares about you, that you're not important enough, and therefore you're being ignored. You're being talked down to. You're not being included in things. So yeah, it's similar to your perspective, and your perspective and how you're perceiving that is causing you great pain. You cannot take in other people's opinions or perspective about who you are. You have to find who you are and stand strong in that. If you know that your intention is not to harm someone, don't let them tell you that you are being harmful. You can say, I'm sorry, that's your opinion, that's your perspective, that's not who I am. I didn't ignore your call on purpose, unless you did. And if you did, hey, let's just be honest about that. So to the gentleman that sent me that message, I really don't know if I even responded today because I was in shock. I just want to say, I don't know you that well. You don't know me. We're not best friends. We are friends on Facebook, like many, many, many people who are watching. And I'm doing my best just to offer solution. I'm not perfect. I don't have all the answers. I don't claim to have all the answers. And if I missed a message from you, it's just because I'm busy, and it's just because I'm attending to other things. But I want you to think about this when you're taking things personally. What is your expectation? Did you have an expectation that I should be at your beck and call, that I should respond to every text message? Did you have an expectation and decide that I was being rude when I didn't respond to your message? And think about this as people in your life. This is an acquaintance. This is someone I don't even know, not even acquaintance. I even have never seen the person in real life, right? So if you haven't had a real relationship with someone and their acquaintance and their expectation is that you should be available to them, you should respond to all of their text messages, you should make time for them, that person's expectation is unrealistic given the relationship that you have. Are you feeling me? Because you're all throwing thumbs up. If we barely know each other, you can't expect that I'm going to return your messages and calls in a timely manner. We don't even really know each other, and you're not really my friend. You are an acquaintance, or in this case, you're in a relationship with me that's kind of like a coach and a client. So we don't have that, right? All right. Tell me what you think about that, because honestly, I'm just using the example, and I want to hear from you, your examples. It's not all about me, but as you guys know, I'm always giving you my real life examples, so you don't feel crazy and you go, wow, Gina, that stuff happens to me too. Brenda, no one is perfect. We try to do the best we can. Can I get an amen for Brenda? Because amen to that, Brenda. We do the very best that we can with what we have. We are all imperfect because we are human, all right? Kenneth, they find it not acceptance in their life at that time. Hey, Kenneth, you're here on the live. So Kenneth was who I was talking about that said he couldn't get me live in North Carolina on Wednesday nights. Something changed, Kenneth. God rained down with a bunch of internet service for you, and here you are. They cannot find acceptance in their life at that time. Okay, it's probably true, Leona. There is also time difference. Okay. Yes, there is absolutely time difference. Thank you, Sublimal. Good morning, Sublimal. Nice to see you, Bubbly. You are after a long time. Yes, I'm so glad to see you too. Yes, we do. I learned so much from what you shared. Thank you. All right, cool. Let's keep it going. So, why do you take it personally? You take it personally and you get offended because you don't feel enough. You are seeking validation outside yourself. You're looking for someone else to affirm that you are okay in the world. This person is looking for me to affirm that they're likable or lovable, that they're important, that they matter. And that's not what I set out in terms of just a casual conversation. I'm just being polite. I'm just sharing my experience, strength, and hope. If you get inspired, if you feel like your feelings are being validated, that's a bonus. But that's not an agreement that we entered into. Does that make sense? Hi, Leona, who's in the Netherlands and Canada, and it's 10:39 p.m. and she is watching. So y'all give her some praise and love for hanging in there at this hour of the night. Sometimes it's because we can't sleep and we got to find something to do and something interesting or something that's of value to us. When you take it personally, when people are not available, don't respond to you right away, don't give you the answers that you want, don't talk to you the way that you expect them to talk to you, is because of your own insecurity. You don't feel like you're enough and you're seeking them to validate you. That's where we get it wrong. No one outside of you can tell you you're enough. You have got to do that for yourself. Every time you seek someone else to lift you up, to give you that kudos, to give you that thumbs up, those things feel really, really great. It's so great to get praise from other people. It's kind, it's a loving thing to do. But when you don't get it, you still have to know that you're not enough. So when people in your life that you love are not giving that to you, a spouse, your children, your friends, you always have to give that to yourself. And you need to understand not to take it personally when they're not able to do that for you, because you can't expect that from somebody else. Does that make sense? All right, Julie, some people can be so offensive. I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. Do y'all agree with that? Some people can be very rude, like to say to me, and I barely know you, oh, are you enjoying it? It makes me sound like I'm a sicko, like, ooh, I get enjoyment from ignoring people and making them feel bad. That's a gross generalization, over assumption, misperception. And why would I perceive you in that way? You know, I wouldn't. I don't think it's fair. No expectations works for me, Gina. Yes, Marshall. When you put expectation on someone, you are writing a script or a contract, a contractual relationship that they're not even aware of. When you have expectation for other people and they are not spoken, you have never spoken what your needs are, what your wants are, your desires in a relationship, you're setting them up to fail and yourself to get hurt. Sometimes we do that in relationships. Where we take really personally is when our partner doesn't give us exactly what we want, yet we've never told them exactly what we want. I need you to rub my feet at night because, I don't know, that makes me feel like I'm the most special person in the world. I like it when you bring me a cup of coffee in the morning. Hi, Nellie Nell. It's been a really long time. Did you lose me? Because I'm not on Thursdays anymore. I'm on Wednesdays. I miss y'all. Come on back, girl. Okay, so hi. Fareed's saying hi to everybody. He's posting all the Ask Gina comments right there. Donna, could they comment be considered projection? Yes, Donna, of course it can. So sometimes getting offended or personally is you're projecting. So I feel hurt. I feel insecure. So now I'm going to throw that on you. I want you to feel hurt. I want you to feel insecure because maybe I'm a little embarrassed, or maybe I thought we had some better relationship than we actually have. If you don't tell people what you need and what you want, they can't guess. They can't be psychic. They can't figure that out, okay? Denise, hi, good morning. Well, good day, Denise. Good to see you too. And thank you, Mary, for saying hi to Fareed. So he's saying hi back. I guess the point is this. When you feel hurt by somebody else's action, the best action you can take is to say, hey, it really hurt my feelings that I haven't heard from you. Or, hey, it hurt my feelings that you ignored me at this event last night. Or, hey, I know I've never told you, but when you speak to me in soft tones, that really matters to me. That really makes me feel special. When you bring me coffee in bed, I feel like I'm the queen of the world. When you take the time out to spend time with me, it really matters to me. And when you don't feel that, I don't feel cared for, I don't feel like I'm important, and I don't feel like I matter in your life. I had this discussion today with a client, and the issue for her was she has this father who is very wealthy, has provided everything for her, keeps trying to support her as she keeps trying to get into sobriety, as she goes through alcohol and drug addiction treatment repeatedly and struggles to get anytime sober. Her hurt around her dad goes way, way back. When I asked her when she felt abandoned by him, or the first time she felt abandoned, she went all the way back to 8. So I want you to think about stories in your life where someone has made you feel less than, or made you feel unimportant, or you felt ignored, because these are the roots of us taking things personally from people in the present. It started in the roots of our past. And for this young woman, it was all the way back to 8, where she feels like suddenly in her life, her parents became so focused on other things, people, places, and things, power and prestige, that she got forgotten, that she was to fend for herself. Not only that, she was different than all the members of her family. I called her a unicorn, which she loved, because they're fabulous. While the rest of the family was maybe cows or giraffes, she was a unicorn. So she stood out. She was so different, they didn't get her. Do you ever feel like in your family or with your loved ones that they just don't get you? And because they don't get you, you feel hurt. And you personalize that. That means that you're not worth loving or understanding. That's where we get it wrong. When we believe that the people in our life, their lack of understanding us because we're so different than them, means that we're not lovable, that's not true, you guys. That's not true at all. It just means they don't understand us. Maybe they're not capable of understanding. Maybe we are so uniquely different than them that they are looking at something that they've never seen in their life. What do you think about that? Like seeing a unicorn, right? I know they're not real. Don't get me started. Or maybe they are. All right. Subliminal. Isn't wanting a problem, Gina? I try to keep away from it. It kind of leads to expectations. Oh, wanting. Am I right? Okay. Wanting is not a problem. You can want. We can want things all the time. But do you have what you need? I want you to do this for me. But what do I need you to do for me? I want you to get up and make dinner. But hey, I worked a 40-hour week. So did you. We're equal in that. We're both tired. So my tired is not greater than your tired. I need to eat. That's the reality. I want you to be the one to cook dinner for me because I'm tired and I need to eat. So we have to look at the want and see what is the need. I can want designer shoes. I can want a trip to Paris. I can want lots of things that I can't afford, are not reasonable, I can't create in my life, and I need to look at what is it that I need. If I'm talking about a vacation, really what I need is self-care. I need a time out from my life and my routine. I need to get out of the rut. That doesn't mean I need to go to Paris, although that would be fabulous. All right. Hope I answered you, Subliminal. And Brenda saying, yep, Antoinette. I'm so the unicorn. Yes, you are, girl. They put me down when I relapse, but when I'm sober, they act like it's nothing. You know, that is very interesting, and taking things personally, Nellie. Like I was talking about this young woman, it's like, yes, she's treated differently when she's not able to maintain sobriety. Of course, they're in fear. They're terrified that you're going to relapse. When you do relapse, they're terrified that you're going to die. That's the reality. So we've got to really look at that piece, right? But when they're sober, I act like nothing. When you're sober is the time to talk about all of those conversations, all of the upset of when you weren't sober, is to talk about the times you missed or the family reunions you missed and how sad it was that you weren't able to be a part of. But Everybody likes when we're back to status quo and there's no issues. Everybody likes to act like nothing happened. We could have the biggest, hugest fight. It's happened in my family. It's happened in my husband's family. And then the next night, there's some family event. We all go to dinner like that never happened. Like, huh? What? It's called denial. And yes, as you've all heard, it is not a river in Egypt. Denial is here. There is a huge upset. There's a huge fire in the house, bells and whistles going off. And the next day, we all ignore and pretend like that didn't happen. Why? Because everybody hates feeling uncomfortable. Talk about taking things personally. The family is afraid to rock the boat. If you're the addict or the alcoholic, this is a completely different subject. The family's afraid to rock the boat that you're going to relapse, that you're going to use or drink again, and they're terrified. But in normal families where there's not an addiction trigger, there's just arguing or infighting because there's jealousy or there's envy or you're so different from your brother and sister, you guys have never learned how to communicate without fighting. Tell me if that's your story. Or that's the love language of your parents, is to argue. Your parents never learned how to have reasonable conversation with you without raising voices and without arguing, okay? Sometimes it's not a love language, but I'm calling it one of the love languages, is there's different ways to communicate. If your family only communicated through arguing, then you learn that that's how to communicate with others. And so you argue and you fight, it feels terrible, and then you all pretend, oh my God, my battery's dying. I don't know where my charger. Anyways, my phone is charged. Sorry, YouTube, if this turns off, my battery's dying. Hold on one second. Oh, and I don't see the plug. Well, so what? Let's keep going. So anyways, I want you to know that this is a learned pattern of behavior. And so that style of communication is hurtful and it's painful. So as soon as everybody stops arguing, everybody wants to pretend like it didn't happen because it helps them to feel secure again. They're feeling insecure. They're afraid. They're uncomfortable. And we want to pretend and we want to go back to, yay, everything's normal now. We're not arguing. Let's just love each other and pretend like that never happened. That's not reality, and that's sad because that means there's no trust in that family and there's no trust in your communication. Antoinette, I am going to Paris and Italy in March 2019. Want to run away? In love with someone who is not? Oh my gosh. Who is not what? I can't see the more. I'm getting happy faces. Oh, I hate when that happens. Okay. Anyways, Antoinette, I hope I can read the rest of that, but I can't right now. It's not letting me. In love with someone who is not in love with me? Is that what you're saying? In love with me. Again, girl, what you doing? Y'all talk to Antoinette. Girl, that's crazy. Okay. I love Europe. I love traveling. Thank God for my husband who instilled that in me and in our family. And he made it a requirement that we do that and travel abroad and learn about different cultures and people, places, and things. However, in love with someone who ain't in love with me, Antoinette, girl, I know we've had this conversation with you before. Let's do that on my next live. I will just tackle that. I know I've talked about it. Nellie, I can't get in a comfy emotional state sometimes, battling to stay sober. Yes. Then they try. Ugh. Oh, gosh. I'm trying to read your lines, you guys, and these little emojis come up. Around me, they always try to make me comfy. Yeah, they're terrified, girl. They're afraid. And you know what? They think they control your addiction. If I make you comfortable and I don't upset you and I don't disrupt you, you're not going to get loaded. That is the biggest lie that any sober person can give to any person who's not sober or who's an addict or an alcoholic. You're powerless over their actions. You can't control it. I don't care how comfy you make them. If they want to get loaded, they will. So Nellie, this is your program. This is your journey. This is your sobriety. There's nothing the family can or cannot do to make you get loaded again. If you use them as a reason to get loaded because you're upset, because they upset you, because they hurt you, that's your unwillingness or your inability to deal with your own emotions and using the family as an excuse. So maybe you need to educate them. Maybe you need to keep encouraging them to go to Al-Anon. I know this ain't the topic. but it was a secret topic, so I should be able to talk about whatever. And the secret topic was, why do we take things personal? This is very personal, isn't it, Nellie? So this is your sobriety. This is your program. This is your recovery. If your family's great, great. You can still get loaded and have the best family in the world because you have an addiction. You have a disease that calls your name. All right. I get so passionate when I talk because this is my area that I really, really am entrenched in. So, and I work with addicts and alcoholics and have for 30 something years. Okay. So I get very passionate about it. So we were talking about why we take things personally. Maybe sometimes because of this, because we're hurt from past hurts, because we're hurt because we've hurt other people and we haven't made our own amends and we're afraid to do that. Maybe that's another reason why we take things personally, because we feel guilt and shame. We're ashamed of behaviors of ours. We feel guilty. We feel bad because we've wronged people in that story. Antoinette's saying, yes, I want to feel confident and emotional and healthy. Let's send her some love. Let's send Nellie some love. And yes, Antoinette, we got to talk about not running off to Paris with a guy who doesn't love you. What do you guys think about that? Nellie, oh my goodness. Yes, Nellie, I get it. Mike, Antoinette, don't drink alcohol or you may never be happy or get where you want to be. And prayers. Send prayers up. I love it. And support Nellie on that. And Antoinette, girl, we have to do that subject next week. What do you guys think? Is running off into a relationship where you don't love someone? Yes, shame, guilt, and fear, Nellie. That person, you love them, they don't love you, and you run away with them, right? That's insecurity. That's self-esteem. That's trying to get validation outside of myself because I don't feel like I'm enough. That was the beginning of this live where I said, why do we take things personally? That's why. At the root, we don't feel enough. At the root, we're looking for someone else to validate our worth. No one can do that for you. And if they fail to do that and you judge yourself harshly because they don't validate your very existence, that's for you to work through, not for the other person. So if someone ignores you, doesn't respond to your text in a normal conversation, please tell yourself they're probably just busy and I'm going to let it go. If you've had a fight with somebody and they ignore a text, that's intentional. You decide if you want to keep that going. You can decide to be the bigger person and say, hey, I know we had an argument. I feel really bad about it. I'd like to talk. I promised I'm not going to blast you or come at you. That would be great. If this person said to me, hey, Gina, I felt bad. I wanted to talk to you. I've reached out a few times. I just want to say hello. But my concern is this person wants more from me than what I can give. I've repeated that I'm married, that I have a family, that I have these commitments. And this person keeps making comments that make me feel like they want something more from me. And that's why I'm not engaged so much and responding. I just keep saying, I'm sorry. I'm busy and I'm not seeking to grow a relationship with anyone on Facebook because I have all my relationships and commitments and I'm full with what I have on my plate. Does that make sense? I hope so. I only said that to you to give you an example of how to handle and how to manage. And if you're in this situation with someone that's taken something very personally that you didn't intend to wound them with, that you didn't do purposefully, with intention to do harm, and they've received it as harm. It's okay to make an amends. It's okay to explain. And it's also okay if you've explained over and over to someone, like I've told you before on these lives, in relationship with family members who are offended with me for 25-year-old wounds and hurts, is this. I made an amends. I made an apology. I begged for forgiveness. If you can't accept that, then I cannot keep coming after you. Because that's wounding my heart, that's wounding my soul, that's belittling myself and saying to myself, I'm somehow worth less than you, that I need to keep bowing down to you in this very humbling way. No, there's a line that's crossed there. There's a point where you say, enough is enough. I've told you, I've bore my soul, I've bore my heart. I'm sorry I offended. I'm sorry I hurt. I'm sorry that you felt it was intentional. It absolutely was not. Please forgive me. Please accept my apology. And if someone chooses not to do that, I think it's unkind. I think it's very selfish. I think it's very hurtful. And I think that's very intentional. And maybe they need to work on themselves a little bit more. Or maybe they're doing that purposefully because it makes them feel good. Now they feel empowered. They feel like, oh, good. You feel bad. You're hurt now. You've made an amends. Now you go off and feel bad, and I don't need to forgive you. That's sad. There's a lack of maturity there. There's a lack of forgiveness there. And as long as you don't forgive and you're carrying wounds and resentments in your heart, you're going to suffer. I no longer suffer about what I was confronted about. It hurt me at first. I was shocked. I was bewildered. I no longer suffer about it because I think it's not my resentment to manage, and it's not my resentment to let go of. It's theirs. And if they refuse to do that, they're choking on it. They're living in that pain, whether they recognize it or not. To not forgive another human who begs for forgiveness is going to cause a huge pain in your life. It's going to cause that resentment to build into other relationships in your life. It's going to cause you to walk around with blinders on. There's got to be some guilt, and there's got to be some shame around that, and an inability to forgive others. So tell me what you think. The comments are not coming in as quick. So if you've been commenting, sometimes I think you all get stunned or Facebook freezes, and then I'm sitting here talking to myself. So if you're still there, send a thumbs up. We're at the end of the live. Kenneth, when I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life. Unacceptable to me, and I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, or thing, or situation as being exactly the way that, thank you for sending the thumbs up. I thought I was alone. Exactly the way that it is supposed to be. Thank you, Kenneth. I agree with you 100%. Nellie Nail, afraid to be alone, abandonment issues. I know, Nellie, we've talked about that before. Yes, you are powerless over people, places, and things. The beautiful program of Alcoholics Narcotics Anonymous teaches that, preaches that, and I think we all can learn from that. You are powerless over people's perceptions, their opinions. You are powerless if someone takes something personally. But if they humbly come to you and tell you, I took it personally, it hurt my feelings, please have the kindness, the humanity, the heart, the soul to forgive, to release the burden of pain between you and them, to allow yourself to feel a moment of grace. It's a beautiful, graceful thing to forgive others, even when they've been unforgivable. It is so powerfully healing inside of you. To me, that is the grace ultimately of being divine, of the universe, of God, of whatever spiritual principles that you practice. It's so relieving and healing to forgive. So if you've taken things personally, think about it. The person did not intend to harm me. Maybe I should share with them my hurt and give them an opportunity to make an amends. And if they do, I should forgive because it's divine and I will heal from it. So final comments, Brenda, sending love and prayers to both you ladies. Thank you for sending that to Nellie, to Antoinette. I love it. Antoinette, I'm so angry with men or the men I attract. I was in California. Oh, I want to read this. Last Saturday and had to take a lift home from my date because he got all moody because I didn't have sex with him. Girl, I hate men like that. Girl, y'all send some love to Antoinette right now. Hi, Frank. Thank you for saying I'm divine. Frankie's like my high school best friend. We've been friends forever. Melissa Weir, you're like my oldest friend. Not by age, by longevity, by like being in my life that long. Frankie, do you know that? I have very little